Welcome back to another Gaming Memories video. Here we're taking a look at a game called Burnout that was originally released in Japan in early to mid 2000 for the PlayStation 1. More so released during the PlayStation, midway through the PlayStation's life cycle. Now that's not to mistake the Burnout series, that it's any comparison to what was originated on the PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 3 so forth. This is a totally different game. This is actually a out and out drag racing game that was released on the PlayStation 1 and it was only available within Japan, but it was actually part of a budget series of games, because in Japan had their own selection of budget based games that they would only release in that region, and this was part of that selection. And the quality of the games varied because a lot of the games were more affordable than others. There was obviously a simple way for likes of small companies and independent developers to actually get their foot in the door with game development and actually develop for the console. But first off, from looking at the game, actually the graphics are actually very, very good. The car models are actually excellent, and they really do take note of the PlayStation's capabilities, and you can clearly see the full extent of the graphic capabilities of the console itself. Even though this is more of an independent game, but graphically it looks a lot better than a lot of other racing games that have come before it, which is quite unique, and it shows the level of ability from developers, and you can clearly see the progress in terms of how the quality of games, or graphically, that they improved as the years went on the PlayStation, which is quite phenomenal. They were really able to push its boundaries. But even though it has plus sides and positives due to the visual looks of the game, the car physics, I will admit, is probably the game's negative feature in my opinion, from what I've actually seen and what I played in this. Now, up until recently, I had no idea that this game even existed. I know that there was a lot of racing games and car-based games that were released in Japan, and the more I've actually started to dive into looking for different types of games, I'm finding loads of different games that I never even thought even existed, and this is actually one of them. Now, like I said, graphically, I think the game actually looks phenomenal, but physically, in terms of the car mechanics, it's not that great. There is better driving games out there. Now, in saying that, this is just a drag racing game, so you're literally just driving in a single line. You're not driving around full on tracks where you're driving around corners and so forth. But the physics are very fiddly, so they are. You do need to take your time with it and try to understand the controls, because they can be very, very twitchy, and you can lose traction on the car very, very easily. And even when you're trying to change the gears and stuff, and the second you slide out at all, you're done. I know, I can understand, like, that's in terms of difficulty, these type of games are not supposed to be easy anyway, but it's just you're constantly fighting with the controls, even at low speeds, to try and keep the car on the track. So it can be a bit of a nuisance, if you say, and it can get very frustrating very quickly. But on the plus side of it, like, graphically the game does look incredible. It's actually, for me, looking at the car models, it's definitely one of the better looking games on the system, without a doubt. And considering this is a budget game, it actually does look the part. It's just the car physics is definitely something to be questioned about. But again, it is what it is, because like, for budget type games, you can't always expect to get everything spot on first time. But essentially, like, with this game here, from what I've been able to piece together on it as well, it's like most other games or types of games, racing games even as well, as the fact is that you're doing races but you're upgrading your cars the whole time. You're going through like a story where you're going around different parts of cities trying to dominate certain territories by winning races and winning points or cash, so that you can upgrade your cars, because when you go into a new area, it can be quite difficult to win a race straight away, but when you've actually acquired enough points or cash, you can then start adding modifications to your car, so that way then it'll increase the horsepower and so forth. So again, that'll make it a wee bit easier for you to actually win races. It takes a bit of while to get used to, I will admit, but when if you keep at it, you can master it to some degree. Again, you have to just kind of stick with it. A lot of these games, the older games, I find as well, it's kind of in an era of games where there was no room for error. It definitely was a massive learning curve to a lot of these type of games. If you didn't get it straight away, you'd struggle with it for a while, so you'd have to just keep playing it and playing it and playing it until you just figured it out. But once you did, then you could actually do quite well in them. And this here game is no exception to that. But again, as you progress through the story, you can unlock different likes of drag strip tracks, if you will, and then obviously you have different opponents that you need to defeat along the way. And again, you can see that the cars, everything gets gradually more difficult the more you play it, in terms of the car's AI and how you actually play it. So again, when you're upgrading your cars, it will make it that little bit easier, but again, you just have to play it for quite a while to be able to do that. Now, I played it for a little while and I did find it a little bit on the difficult side, but once I got the hang of it, I started to understand it a little bit better, and once I got used to the controls. It does take a bit of work to try and keep the car on the road, I will admit, but you can win races on it once you get the hang of it, so it's not too bad that way. But I do like the graphical style in it, because visually it's definitely a very good looking game, and like for a budget game it's definitely a plus. So I know that there's more budget games on the system that are similar to the likes of these type of games, so I'm definitely going to be making it my goal to actually go and try and explore and experience a lot more of these games, because again, like, a lot of these games are new to me and I didn't even know that they existed, and there is a lot of hidden gems, like I mentioned, that were in Japan probably, and there is a lot of games that probably weren't as good, but again, they're worthwhile experiencing. And if you love the PlayStation at all, it is definitely, now is a good opportunity. Whether you're playing the games through online, or if you're a classic collector where you like getting physical games, now is a really good time to really kind of explore the console. Again, because like there's so many games out there, and it is a fun time to really just go back and actually just relive this all over again, and even gain new experiences from all these games. So that's it for this video of Burnout, and now you can see what the game is actually like, and if it's something that you're interested in, definitely feel free to go and have a look and check it out. So if you have enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, and also hit that subscribe button and hit the bell icon to be updated whenever I release a new video. And as always, make sure to keep playing those classic games and exploring other games like this here, and keep those gaming memories alive.